You clicked on this video because deep down, you know something is wrong, not with the world, but with how you're living in it. You feel like you're sleepwalking through your own life, following a script someone else wrote, and you're right to feel that way. Friedrich Nietzsche saw this coming over a century ago. He watched people live their entire lives without ever truly waking up, without ever asking the hard questions, without ever becoming who they really are. What you're about to hear are 20 brutal lessons that most people only learn when it's too late to change course. These aren't feel-good quotes or motivation. These are warnings from someone who looked deeper into human nature than almost anyone before or since. Some of these truths will hurt, make you angry, make you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. But that's the point, because until you face these harsh realities, you'll keep making the same mistakes that keep you stuck, small and unfulfilled. Let's begin. Lesson 20, you are not your thoughts. You are what you do with them. Most people think they are their thoughts. When angry thoughts come, they say, I am angry. When sad thoughts appear, they say, I am sad. But Nietzsche knew better. He understood that thoughts are just visitors in your mind. They come and go like clouds in the sky. The real you is not the thoughts that appear, but how you respond to them. Do you let angry thoughts control your actions? Do you let fearful thoughts stop you from growing? Watch a child learning to walk. They fall down hundreds of times. Thoughts of, I can't do this, must cross their young minds. But they keep getting up. They don't identify with the thought of failure. They act despite it. Most adults lose this ability. They let one negative thought about themselves become their entire identity. They think, I'm not smart enough, and stop trying to learn. The lesson, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses what to do with them. Lesson 19, your past is not your prison unless you make it one. Everyone has a story about why they can't succeed. My parents didn't support me. I didn't go to the right school. My father didn't have money. I made mistakes when I was younger. These stories feel true because they happened. But Nietzsche would say they're just excuses disguised as explanations. Yes, your past shaped you. Yes, some people had advantages you didn't have. But none of that determines what you do next. None of that controls your choices today. Look at people who overcame terrible backgrounds. What did they do differently? They stopped using their past as an excuse and started using it as fuel. Your past can be a prison or a teacher, a burden or a strength, a reason to give up or a reason to prove everyone wrong. The choice is yours. The lesson, your past explains where you came from, but it doesn't determine where you're going. That's up to you. Lesson 18, comfort is the enemy of growth. We are taught to seek comfort, get a safe job, find a stable relationship, stay secure. But Nietzsche saw that comfort is actually a trap that keeps you from becoming who you could be. Think about a muscle. When does it grow? Only when it faces resistance, when it's challenged, when it's pushed beyond what it's used to. The same is true for your character, your skills, and your entire life. But most people run from discomfort. They avoid difficult conversations. They stay in jobs they hate because change is scary. They don't pursue their dreams because success isn't guaranteed. Every breakthrough in your life will come from doing something that makes you uncomfortable. Every skill you develop will require pushing through the resistance of not knowing how to do it yet. The lesson, if you're always comfortable, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're slowly dying. Lesson 17, most people are cowards and they want you to be one too. This might sound harsh, but look around. How many people do you know who are truly living the life they want? How many are pursuing their real dreams? How many speak their honest thoughts? Most people live in quiet fear, fear of what others will think, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being different. And when they see someone else being brave, it makes them uncomfortable, because your courage reminds them of their cowardice. This is why when you decide to change your life, some people won't support you when you decide to start that business. Learn that skill. Leave that toxic relationship. Some people will try to talk you out of it, not because they care about you, but because your growth makes them feel bad about their own lack of growth. The lesson: most people will try to keep you small because your growth threatens their comfort zone. Don't let their fear become your prison. Lesson 16. You cannot think your way out of problems you behaved your way into. We live in a world that worships thinking. We read self-help books. We watch motivational videos. We plan and analyze and think about changing. But thinking alone never changed anyone's life. You didn't think your way into being out of shape. You ate too much, moved too little. You can't think your way back into shape. You have to change what you eat, change how you move. You didn't think your way into bad relationships. You chose the wrong people, tolerated bad behavior. You can't think your way into good relationships. You have to choose better people, set better boundaries. Most people spend years trying to understand why they do what they do, hoping that understanding will magically change their behavior. But understanding is not the same as changing. The lesson: stop trying to think your way out of problems you behaved your way into. Change your actions and your life will change. Lesson 15. Most people die at 25 and are buried at 75. This is one of Nietzsche's most famous observations, and it's terrifying because it's true. Look around you. How many people are truly alive? How many are growing, exploring, questioning, creating? Most people stop learning after school. They stop trying new things. They stop questioning their beliefs. They find a routine and stick to it for decades. They become predictable, boring, safe. They wake up at the same time every day. They eat the same breakfast. They drive the same route to work. They do the same job. They live the same day over and over for 50 years and call it a life. This isn't living. This is just existing. This is death disguised as life. The lesson: don't let your life become a habit. Keep growing, keep learning, keep changing. Stay alive until the day you die. Lesson 14. You become what you pretend to be. Most people think authenticity means expressing every feeling and impulse they have. But Nietzsche understood something deeper. He knew that you can actually become the person you pretend to be if you pretend consistently enough. If you pretend to be confident long enough, you actually become confident. If you pretend to be kind long enough, kindness becomes natural to you. If you pretend to be disciplined long enough, discipline becomes who you are. This isn't being fake. This is how character is built. You don't wait until you feel brave to act brave. You act brave until you become brave. Most people wait for motivation before they act. They wait to feel confident before they speak up. But that's backwards. Action creates feeling, not the other way around. The lesson: don't wait to become the person you want to be. Start acting like that person today, and eventually you'll become them for real. Lesson 13. Your opinion of yourself is more important than anyone else's opinion of you. We spend so much time worrying about what other people think of us. We dress to impress others. We work jobs we hate to look successful. We stay in relationships that don't make us happy because we're afraid of what people will say. But here's the truth. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves to spend much time thinking about you. And the ones who do judge you harshly are usually unhappy with their own lives. More importantly, no one else has to live your life. No one else has to wake up in your body every morning. No one else has to deal with the consequences of your choices. So why should their opinion matter more than yours? The lesson: work on having a good relationship with yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the only person you're guaranteed to spend your entire life with. Lesson 12. Suffering is inevitable, but you choose what you suffer for. Life is hard. Everyone suffers. Everyone faces pain, loss, disappointment, difficulty. But Nietzsche noticed something important. We get to choose what we suffer for. You can suffer for meaningful things or meaningless things. You can suffer because you're working towards something important, or because you're avoiding work altogether. Think about physical exercise. It's painful. Your muscles hurt. You sweat. You get tired, but this suffering has purpose. It makes you stronger, healthier, more confident. Now think about the suffering that comes from being out of shape. Your back hurts. You have no energy. You feel bad about yourself. This suffering has no purpose. It doesn't lead to anything good. The lesson: you're going to suffer either way. So choose to suffer for something worthwhile. Lesson 11. Most of your problems come from avoiding other problems. This sounds strange, but think about it. You avoid the difficult conversation with your partner, so the relationship gets worse. You avoid dealing with your finances, so they get worse. You avoid taking care of your health, so it gets worse. Most people think they're solving problems by avoiding them, but avoidance doesn't make problems disappear. It makes them grow. More complicated. Why do we avoid problems? Because dealing with them is uncomfortable. It requires effort. It might mean admitting we were wrong. But here's what Nietzsche understood. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. The discomfort of solving a problem today is always less than the pain of living with that problem for years. The lesson: stop running from your problems. Turn around and face them. They're probably not as scary as you think, and they'll only get worse if you wait. Lesson 10. You are responsible for your life, even when it's not your fault. Bad things happen to good people. People are born into poverty. Children are abused. Accidents happen. None of these things are the victim's fault. But here's what Nietzsche understood. Even when something isn't your fault, it's still your responsibility to deal with it. Even when life is unfair, you still have to decide how to respond. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control what you do about it. You can't control other people's actions, but you can control your reactions. This isn't about blaming victims. This is about empowering them. Because when you realize that you're responsible for your response to life, you realize that you have power. The lesson: stop waiting for life to be fair. Take responsibility for where you are and where you're going, regardless of how you got here. Lesson 9. Your friends will make or break you. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. This isn't just a saying, it's a psychological truth. You become like the people you spend time with. Their habits become your habits. Their attitudes become your attitudes. If your friends complain all the time, you'll start complaining more. If they make excuses, you'll start making excuses. But the opposite is also true. If your friends are ambitious, you'll become more ambitious. Most people are loyal to friends who are bad for them. They stay connected to people who drain their energy, waste their time, hold them back. They do this because they're afraid of being alone or because they feel guilty about abandoning people. The lesson: choose your friends carefully. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to become better, not people who make you comfortable staying the same. Lesson 8. Happiness is not the goal. Meaning is. We're told that the purpose of life is to be happy, but Nietzsche thought this was wrong. He believed that pursuing happiness directly usually leads to emptiness, while pursuing meaning often leads to genuine satisfaction. Think about the happiest moments of your life. Were they moments when you were trying to be happy? Or were they moments when you were doing something meaningful? When you were helping someone? When you were creating something? Happiness is a byproduct, not a goal. It comes from doing meaningful work, building strong relationships, growing as a person, contributing to something bigger than yourself. The lesson: stop chasing happiness and start building meaning. Happiness will follow, but meaning is what makes life worth living. Lesson 7. You will be judged no matter what you do. Some people spend their entire lives trying to please everyone. They avoid taking risks because someone might criticize them. They don't pursue their dreams because someone might laugh. But here's the reality. You will be judged no matter what you do. If you succeed, some people will say you got lucky. If you fail, they'll say you weren't good enough. If you try something new, they'll call you crazy. If you play it safe, they'll call you boring. There is no way to live your life that will satisfy everyone. so you might as well live it in a way that satisfies you. The lesson: you're going to be judged no matter what you do, so you might as well do what you think is right. Lesson 6. Your emotions are information, not commands. We treat emotions like they're facts. We feel angry, so we think someone wronged us. We feel afraid, so we think we're in danger. But emotions are just information. They're not always accurate, and they're not commands that you have to obey. You can feel angry without acting angry. You can feel sad without staying sad. You can feel afraid without being controlled by fear. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They let their feelings dictate their actions. They make important decisions based on temporary feelings. Think of emotions like weather. You can notice that it's raining without letting the rain ruin your day. The lesson: feel your emotions, but don't let them make your decisions. You are in charge of your actions, regardless of how you feel. Lesson 5. Most people prefer comfortable lies to uncomfortable truths. Truth is often painful. It shows us things we don't want to see. It reveals problems we don't want to solve. It forces us to confront realities we'd rather ignore. So most people choose comfortable lies instead. They lie to themselves about their health, their relationships, their finances. They pretend everything is fine when it's not. They surround themselves with people who tell them what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. They consume media that confirms what they already believe. But Nietzsche knew that lies, even comfortable ones, always come with a price. The truth you avoid today will be more painful when you're forced to face it tomorrow. The lesson: seek truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Deal with reality as it is, not as you wish it were. Lesson 4. You can't save people who don't want to be saved. This is one of the hardest lessons to learn, especially for caring people. You see someone you love making bad decisions. You see them hurting themselves with their choices. So you try to help. You give advice. You offer support. You try to fix their problems. You try to save them from themselves. But Nietzsche understood something painful. You can't save people who don't want to be saved. You can't want someone's success more than they want it. People change when they're ready to change, not when you're ready for them to change. Trying to save someone who doesn't want to be saved will only exhaust you, frustrate them. The lesson: be willing to help people who want help, but don't waste your life trying to save people who don't want to be saved. Lesson 3. Your life gets better when you stop making excuses. Everyone has reasons why they can't succeed. Some of these reasons are real, but most of them are just excuses disguised as explanations. I don't have time usually means I don't prioritize this. I can't afford it usually means I don't budget for this. I'm too old usually means I'm afraid to try. Excuses feel good in the moment because they protect your ego. They let you avoid responsibility, but they also keep you stuck. Successful people have the same obstacles as unsuccessful people. They just respond to obstacles differently. Instead of making excuses, they find solutions. The lesson: stop making excuses and start making progress. Every excuse is a choice to stay stuck. Lesson 2. You teach people how to treat you. People will treat you exactly how you allow them to treat you. If you accept disrespect, you'll get more disrespect. If you tolerate bad behavior, you'll get more bad behavior. This isn't about being mean or aggressive. It's about having standards and boundaries. It's about knowing what you will and won't accept from others. Most people are afraid to set boundaries because they're afraid of conflict. They're afraid people won't like them if they speak up. But the opposite is usually true. People respect those who respect themselves. When you don't have boundaries, you attract people who want to take advantage of you. The lesson: teach people to treat you well by treating yourself well. Set clear boundaries and stick to them. Lesson 1. Life is short, but most people live like it's endless. Everyone knows that life is short, but most people live like they have unlimited time. They postpone their dreams. They delay important conversations. They put off taking care of themselves. They say someday when they mean never. They say when I have time when they mean when I feel like it. But Nietzsche knew that time is the most valuable thing you have, and you can never get it back. Every day you waste is a day you'll never have again. Look at your daily routine. How much time do you spend on things that truly matter to you? How much time do you waste on things that don't add value to your life? The lesson: live like your time matters, because it does. Stop wasting your life on things that don't matter and start investing it in things that do. The choice is yours. These 20 lessons are not meant to depress you. They're meant to wake you up. They're meant to show you the reality of how most people live so you can choose to live differently. Nietzsche believed that most people sleepwalk through life. They follow scripts written by others. They accept limits that aren't real. They settle for lives that are smaller than what they're capable of. But you don't have to be like most people. You can choose to be awake. You can choose to think for yourself. You can choose to grow. You can choose to become who you really are instead of who others expect you to be. The choice is yours. You can learn these lessons now, while you still have time to act on them. Or you can learn them later, when it might be too late to change course. What will you choose? If this video helped you see something clearly for the first time, subscribe to our channel. We're building a community of people who want to live consciously, grow continuously, and become authentically themselves. Your life is waiting. The question is, are you ready to claim it?